since the teleport lifts destroying all monsters in the area, but both are very power consuming. The portal especially, the hold one, let alone many for that many monsters, for even a few seconds. You would have to have years and years of experience, or just be an outland monster yourself. No zealot of Valdis will have that kind of power. She's not dumb enough to get it, though Owen could probably do it. Don't suggest something so ridiculous, I growled at her. I don't disagree that he could make portals, but he wouldn't bring monsters to the kingdom. She gave a small sigh. I think you'll think I'm not really bad either, so why else would those little monsters ask him? He knows specifically the idea that there's some chosen hero, and that's why the monsters time. What do you mean by? She stopped as she read my note and figured it out. Oh, come on, really? You think you're some hero because you have a really quick brain and simple dread? You'll have to go around seeing things, but I just wanted me to ask him. What was all that? Well, you can tell me you're not a chosen hero. He was chosen by monsters and forced in their hands. Of that road, have set missions. So, as your mission was to get little moron, I think you're safe. I didn't ask to be insulted, just wanted to get the facts for him. Is he paying me for this? I didn't ask for payment, but he's getting how he's being. Oh, look at you, getting along with your age group. And here I was going to compliment you by saying who I thought was really the chosen hero the monsters were after. Wait, you said that I was the chosen hero? I did, but I take it back because you're a jerk. She rolled her eyes, but the sarcastic attitude faded into a somber one. She looked back to the sarcophagus. What if the monsters deep down back again, targeting you because they think you are the hero thereafter? What would you do? I guess continue fighting them off. If there is some chosen hero, then I'd just have to play decoy until they are ready. I wouldn't want the monsters attacking innocent people, so if that was what was happening, then I guess I would have to go camping or something. Camping? You don't like camping? No, but I'd do it for the kingdom. She just shook her head. She looked like she had something to say, but just couldn't say it. I frowned. I had never seen her so conflicted before. Did she know it's some hero? Maybe it was because we didn't know why the monsters came at all, directly attacking only two locations, the same locations that we happened to be in. It was scary, and it could happen again, faster than we could figure out the mystery behind it. Maybe if it was all these things, and I just unloaded it all in front of the resting place of the moon. I'm sorry for bringing this all up here. It wasn't appropriate. No, it's fine. It's a bit ridiculous, but perhaps your monsters have some merit. I'm worried about you, if it's the case. Maybe there is something or someone behind it, and they think you are the hero because you have Tenny. I don't know. I don't want you taking the fall, nor do I want to see our people hurt in this crossfire. She took a breather. I don't think she would like to see us in Afghanistan anytime soon either. I turned to the sarcophagus. No, I doubted she would. The muttering of Day and Hannah came from the distance, making me very aware that something was missing. Where's Lucilla? Adelia looked away from the corpse back to me. She's reading up on the texts I found while I was here. I had originally planned on being gone for a few minutes for a stretch. Sorry, I'll let you get back to it. My father, get him to rest. Yeah, good luck on. She started, only to be stopped as the whole tomb shook violently. I kept on my feet for a moment as it stopped before shaking again, more powerful than before. The shaking brought us on the pathway as Jens cracked from a book. I looked up just as several started to rain downwards. Instinct took over and I grabbed Adelia, making sure I'd help her as they started to hit the floor. Once the shattering stones stopped, I let her go, feeling the sting of the cut from one of the rocks that streaked across my left cheek. I wiped her as I looked down at her. Are you all right? She nodded, hesitating. What was that? I don't know. I'm not worried. Definitely not. It's not as protected from natural phenomena. Which the counselor answered. I stood up and helped her to her feet. We need to head up to the surface. Okay. I let her go ahead of me since I wanted to make sure I could protect her. In case the place shook again, the sounds of something scratching came to our ears from behind, and we both stopped. I turned and saw something coming from the marble wall at the end of the platform. It jolted slightly, and I went wide-eyed, remembering the effects of pressurized material before it exploded. I didn't get much time to react as I pulled Adelia in just as the wall exploded outwards. A whirlwind of air blasted from it and sent us off the platform and next to the stairs. My breath was knocked out of me as I landed with her on top of me, breaking her heart fall as something cracked in my chest. She got off of me once she regained her balance and looked down at me in anger as she started healing, knowing I had hurt myself in the act. My chest feeling a bit better as she did. You did it! Why would you do that? I looked at her with a dumbfounded look as I sat out with a glorious head rush and a grunt from pain in my chest. My ribs hurt, making it a bit difficult to breathe, and I rubbed the back of my head as it pounded. The pain from my head started to resolve as she did her right back. Perhaps it wasn't the smartest idea to be a cushion for a 10-meter drop, but this time it's just my chest hurting a bit and my head feeling fine after that tiny bit of healing. I think that came out rather all right. Good thing Absolonians are resilient, eh? You aren't even dead. Are you all right? I asked, ignoring the fact that she was livid for me saving her. She was a strong, independent princess that didn't need no... yes, I'm fine. That's all I cared about. She stopped bleeding as a loud growl came from where the wall had burst high above us. My heart skipped a beat in her, and her eyes widened like saucers. I tried to control my fear. We both knew it was a monster. But I wasn't going to show how scared I was with hurting her. The council was right. I was terrified of her. And the stadium attack didn't change that. What it did change was my approach. That approach being a bit cockier and tougher than I really was. Well, that sounds pleasant. She gave me a tilted questioning look with a hint of surprise. She went to speak, only for a large screech from hell to interrupt her. My act faded as I got to my feet, my chest still a bit sore. No, I wasn't fighting that. Not today. Chapter 13. Arrow. A large shadow creature jumped from the platform. I pulled Adelia towards the exit. It landed behind us, shaking its tomb and knocking us off our feet. I turned to see that the extremely large creature had crushed the sapphire floor under its worm-like body and ate hairy spider legs where we were a moment earlier. Two mandibles opened to show two rows of super sharp teeth down the tube-like nose. I managed to pry my eyes off the horrible depth and found that hairy spider had 10 eyes on top and 10 eyes on the bottom of the tail. It didn't appear like it had an upright position as they all stared down at us. The thing stood as tall as Day and was way, way longer. The movement of its strong worm tail drew my attention as it dropped from the raised platform. It had to be over 6 times longer than she was. Adelia pulled me out of my frozen state, getting me to my feet. We rushed over to the tomb entrance to find Day setting the stairway ablaze. Pieces of ash came from it as she confirmed my suspicions. How did outland monsters get into the tomb? I looked around for an escape as the worm monster charged at us, but more noises came from the broken back wall. There was nowhere for us to go. The monster stopped charging when a blue mass tackled it into the right side of the room, cracking the marble under and shaking loose pieces that were damaged from shaking earlier. The wall became jagged and not something I'd want to hit. The blue blur straightened out to be Lucilla, who kept the worm entertained. At least we had a second dragon, but that wouldn't help matters if we became overwhelmed. They and I could push forward, burning monsters, but the enclosed space of the stairway would become too hot for Adelia and Lucilla, and I didn't have a clue what hell space that was. We couldn't go out the way the worm thing came in. I gave the room another look over as a mutter came out. There has to be another exit. Why would there have to be another exit? Adelia growled, walking in front of me to make sure I could see the stupidity in my hope. Get in a tomb, what more I get to see it. I know we're in a tomb, I growled back, trying to think of what to do. Hela took the worm monster from Lucilla, allowing the dragon to come back to her partner. I turned to her, a picture fumes on my head took over. What's she doing? She's going to teleport us out, but to do that, we need to be close. She answered as a giant spear of light poked through the worm's body. The woman came around, rushing towards us as the light of the spear spread its influence throughout the creature's body, holding it fast for a few moments. The light disappeared with a shattering sound, and the creature dove into the floor as we moved up around it. She was still setting the staircase on fire. Hela focused on creating a teleport glyph, forming the lines of light on the floor, only for the ground to provide of blackness and rock. Where had it gone? I wasn't sure. I stepped away from it. The monster wasn't going to be gone for long. As I expected, the floor walked through my room, and I ran away from its center. The creature came up from under the floor, making it rain rock and sapphire again. I swung at its flying head, slicing it before moving again as it tried to crush me. It swiped its tail at me, forcing me to jump over it. It slapped with its face, and I was ready to skewer or force me into its death maw. I leaped onto the closest appendage, putting away my blade, and started climbing its throat, my chest getting a bit of discomfort, most likely from the fall before. I looked up to see how much further I had to reach the top, and found two black eyes with red irises looking down at me with hatred. I hesitated as the eyes glared, and continued on my mission. To say it was unsettling as they fought, the creature bounding around was interesting. What drove Valdez, if the legends were true, to make such a terrifying creature? Did she even know? It wasn't the roughest thing in the world, as all we had to do was dive back into the mountain to kill me. Don't kill it again. Yes, Dave, and I laughed as it rose, making me lose my grip on its slick hairs. I landed back onto its mouth. So, two spider legs wanted to wipe me off, and I jumped back up, gripping on the fur for dear life. The legs missed me, but I kept climbing, eyes still staring. As the monster played stairs, seemingly endless, it growing back to me, it forced me stabbing it into death. That was the plan, even while I continued to worry about it. I got a good grip in my left hand, and pulled out my blade, stabbing one of its disturbing eyes directly in the center. It went this way and that, trying to get me off with legs not quite able to force me off, and I put away my blade and pulled on once again. I reached about 3/4 of the way, the creature stopped moving its face, and jumped. I looked to where it was, seeing Lucilla growing closer, as Shiren and Patty attacked the monster coming from the top of me. I pulled out the sword again, and stabbed in a different eye, in a panic to try and drive it off course. I couldn't let it attack me from behind. My strike exploded in its head, as unexpected magic was released. I lost my grip as the monster moved off course, screaming in pain. Tossed to the side like a ball, I was knocked away, as it rushed into the fire too, missing the sarcophagus. It took a jump. I hit the ground, and break. Dirt and dust flew along the rocks that were launched into the side as it fell. I started crying, trying to flee as I got down. I went to go for that behavior, only for it to commence, spitting a searing pain from my lips. The familiar taste came to my tongue, and I wiped the side of my mouth to find blood was streaked across it. I looked down at myself to find a shard of dragon's poking out the bottom of my right rib, my shirt around it covered in red, but not expanding. I must have landed on it when I fell. Dizziness hit me as my head realized that I had been slightly in pain, and I tried to rationalize it. It wasn't large, blood wasn't pouring into my stomach. The spit. I started coughing again, but the world started to get steadier. I looked up to the dust, daring to pull the shard out. I had done more damage than I was aware of. My head skipped a beat as a low fire. Rock's rolled twisted in front of me as the water cast was flowing in the air. I ran to meet me. It was Lucilla and Hera. Were they? I moved the creature off. A screech ripped through my part of the tomb, only for it to turn into a different noise of pain as a battle cry came from my sister. A bright light shone through the smokestack, followed by an explosion that cleared it away. The creature screamed again. The water was platform, spraying a green goo from a severed tail. Amelia landed in front of me as her dragon, with Hela very exposed, went back to roasting my tongue. I turned my attention to my sister and stabbed the sword into a crack in the corpse, letting me get on my feet. A sharp pain went through my leg, forcing me to lean on the other leg. But I didn't look down at the damage. I didn't want to freak my brain out any more than it was. She looked me over with a bitter surprise, and I gave a small smile. "You all right? That's okay," she replied, trying to show. "How did you even manage this?" "Haven't. Clearly." She didn't get to sass me more, as a sword went someplace by the edge of the platform. Losing most of its tail wasn't enough. Sorry. I coughed again, covering my mouth with my arm to keep my fluids from spraying. I lifted my sword from its pedestal in the ground, and tried putting weight on the sword leg. It held, meaning it was good enough to be used. There was silence, and the sound of slithering came from behind. I pulled her inwards, in between the sarcophagus as a shadow bounced overhead. The action caused her to scream. The monster ran, crushing where she had been standing a moment before, and I put her behind, ready with my blade. I looked back slightly at Amelia, who gave a small nod that she was ready. I charged, drawing its attention. The lead side opened to her. It lunged at me, and I moved around horrible angles, forcing it to eat the floor. Amelia slashed at it with powerful magic streams, sending its green goo blood flowing. I jumped on its head before it got the idea to turn to her. Three eyes turned to me, and their rainbow beaks kindly hit my cap, making the red almost disappear entirely. I stabbed it close to her. It screeched in anger before jumping to the side where Amelia was. I started to shout out a warning across my chest and pulse, making my consciousness slip slightly. My footing slipped off to the side as an explosion went through my ears, and the creature roared loud. The ground came quickly, and I stabbed into the creature's head to slow myself down before attempting to roll out the fall. The fall was messy at best, as I didn't get to a sound. A sharp pain ripped through my left shoulder, causing my sword to fly out of my hand. A sharp scream came from the ears from Amelia. I tried to sit up, calling her name, finding eight eyes staring down at me, one of them bleeding and the other with a gaping hole. Its legs stacked on the ground, attempting to mash me into the floor. I pulled out of the way of one, only to stop just barely to avoid being crushed by a second one, a few centimeters from my nose with its hairs brushing my skin. I looked around frantically while trying not to get steady, to find my sword, only for my leg to be almost amputated. Something silver appeared in the corner of my eye as I went for it. It had to be a million times better than being under the death machine. The creature dropped onto the floor, barely missing me as my mad dash was working. The sword was suddenly up, and I grabbed it, turning around as the sounds of legs pounding came from behind. The gaping mouth ready to feed slowly. My dive rolled out of the way before turning to it with a battle cry. Magic charged the blade like it had done with the Black Phoenix. The blade went to connect, only to come short of its head before it exploded. A loud cry ripped through the room as the blade shattered. The creature growled, swiping what was left of its wormy body, hitting me. The sarcophagus caught my descent over the edge, but it wasn't soft as my head hit, and my breath was knocked out of me. The hilt of the blade dropped down beside me from a loosened grip as the monster came into my blurred vision. The creature charged with 16 glaring eyes, ready for a feast, just as a beam of light came from the entrance of the tomb. The light hit, blinding me entirely. An explosion ripped through the room in my ears, causing them to ring as the light faded. I looked to see that the only thing left was ash. I turned to where the light had come from and saw the king coming up the stairs. I got to a stand with some difficulty, using the sarcophagus as a crutch. The hard, liquid fuel of came out as he reached me, and I wiped away the blood before my eyes. Everything out, but a smile still formed on my face as he it sobered its mouth, following my to my mouth, and started doing some healing on me, assessing the damages he did. Then we both scrolled right. Is that the leader? No, the stairway has been cleared. I knew that hero was monster out of the way. We could leave. The priest turned out of the I gave a small nod as he grabbed my arm and placed it around his shoulder, and we started towards the entrance where Archelaus waited for us at the bottom of the platform. Thank you. Don't. I should have got your sword. Then it wouldn't have come close to killing me. It came as fast as you could. I muttered, looking back for seconds. The sarcophagus that I landed against, some straw, bare of damage or dust, leaving my mother's name across its surface. A small sigh of something. Thank you. Came out as I turned forward and descended the stairs. Chapter 14. Kindling. A headache was the first thing I registered as I started to awaken from a nap behind the grass floor. The last thing I remembered was getting on Archelaus and then Lawrence. I must have passed out being adrenaline, getting on. A message came from Day as she noticed my gun too, telling me that there was an unexpected guest waiting for me to awaken along with Father and Amelia. I probably sent the message aside, thinking nothing of it. And what happened to my family was unexpected. It was so different. I looked to my left and found a pair of heterochromic green blue eyes looking down, standing next to my sister, noticing that I had woken up. I jolted to a sitting position, feeling incredibly exposed while laying down, shirtless. Literally thinking what else could have been an apple that would be fun, but not her, and not with the way she was looking at it. Filled with hatred, or detest, disconcert, or disapproval. It was her I knew, and it terrified me a bit as my uncomfortableness grew. Even her outfit wasn't fancy. you came up with it. The king side. It's been a rough couple of days. I've been excited on the subject. I'm not saying you should be anything, though. I've a bit sore, so it was definitely. I also reached the max limit of healing magic from the past pins and saturation. If only that wasn't a thing. Theodora grabbed the board on the side. I took the opportunity to get out of bed without being watched like a prey. I walked past my confused father over to my dresser to grab a shirt, but it didn't go as unnoticed by the woman as I had hoped. She started with inside. I wanted to kill myself. Perhaps her words were true, and I had realized from the conversation I had overheard, and I hated it. She had never given much emotion or even great respect to her tone, let alone genuine affection saying my name. But hearing the first part about it was I wasn't hating it, as if I loved her. What are you doing? Shouldn't you be resting? No, darling, I said that you shouldn't be moving around now. I had plans to go someplace today. White line. I did someplace to go. Analog clock. I was nearing the time I had told the follies. I liked to do even if her barmaid talk was more than what she normally wore. It wasn't what I enjoyed. I didn't like her staring, which I could feel her doing. My sister scoffed. You've got someplace to go. You know you almost died. It was on one of my long sleeve white shirts. If I had, I wouldn't have had far to go. Stop joking around. I'm being serious. I'm fine and feeling much better. Since getting up from the bed, I felt like I had all the pounds kept feeling to throw. I'm not going for it. I must summon the princess I can need here. Feeling last week, according to the chart, you scratched your lung with a dragonstone shot on top of the conclusion. The healing wasn't able to heal any bruising, which would hinder your ability to fight in another attack of rose. This would be reckless. It was fine. My growl was holding me as I walked over to her, landing the idea of the time on my collar. I took the chart from her, not bothering to look at it. She shouldn't have been here. I went to my chamber, seeing me no makeup to behind. In her speechless moment, father she wanted to check in on me. She could join us. I changed the tone out of the nice setting. I didn't know what she was pretending, and I was still on my way. She didn't excuse me for being rude. She was at least pretending to care, and my words were not giving any gratitude for it. Assuming anything else, Lady Theodora, we rarely talked, and I was ready to be close. You need to be close, Sam. She respected me more than that. As a stranger, I should have considered things about me being here. She bowed slightly, and I kept my eyes on her head, then back to her face as she rose. I didn't want to know how much cleavage she was attempting to share. I was raised better than that. Please forgive me. I rarely talk to most of the girls, just as I worked up my forgiveness. May I ask a favor of you, Princess? Silent. Or just father question. She seemed nervous about what she wanted to ask. No. Often being served the throne, it was may I be relieved that my duties for the time being. I joined Prince Anne on his party today. I want to make sure no other monsters can catch him on his hand. I'm not going to be I started, but father was answering. That's very thoughtful of you, Theodora. Dare I say shocking, but you're interested in moving. I haven't asked for a day off since you stopped. I happen to enjoy writing, but since the attack on the state and now I'm a temper. Thinking about how fleeting life can be. I don't believe being consumed by work is a I must be more social with those around me, starting with the most curious one. Her sheepish answer and silence made me wonder if it was at all. She was composed and not like she was truly nervous. It was unsettling that the crowd standing tall was capable of being out of her element. She didn't have a manipulative understanding, straightforward and open, but that didn't mean she was any less anxious. No, she was as ready as for genuine feelings. How this was so confusing. What was she acting? Was it because she was telling the truth? Was it for some I told her I didn't care. She wasn't someone I was interested in. Not that I knew her other than she had chosen to share in the feelings of my interest. What I did some sort of way of overcompensating her own self and acting like a I justifying anything. It would be a good idea if you would. Your Majesty. Hold a second. I spaced out when I wasn't wrong. I'm sorry, Lady Theodora, but could you give us a minute? Of course, Prince Anne. She left, closing the door behind her. I waited for a few moments before dragging my sister over to the other side of my bed, far from the door, and next to the closed balcony doors, and thankfully, father took me into the walk over. I turned to him, any sort of mannerism, leaving as I felt myself unable to control my words. Why on earth do you think letting her accompany me is a good idea? Did you forget that there might be a coup on the horizon? She followed the leader. I didn't forget. The king answered, and I believed in my honest. He wasn't pleased, but he seemed to understand me. She, for the first time since meeting him, has taken an interest and is showing concern about another person other than herself. I think it's good for her. She is part of the group. It gets you both to enjoy each other's company and away from your usual circle. I didn't know first. So what if we're around the same age? There are a million other people who spend time including Elias, especially if she wants to kill or exile me. That's in you now. Adamantly apart, but didn't interfere further with our conversation as prominent. It's important to give you the benefit of the doubt and be optimistic, like how we usually are, instead of being down. It's fine to stay ready, but we have no proof that she will be part of it. I can go to the follies because books on my head. I tried to her. We don't need whatever Theodora is trying to be. Theodora is very repressed differently. He didn't go far enough. That's changing the angle of the subject. Theodora will be a good asset if something works out. We can keep an eye on her if she happens to be blind. You're out. Also was given an opportunity, but we have to receive distraction. Distracted. She certainly seemed that way. I wasn't wearing a shirt. At the minute, I gave frustration. She suddenly happened everything. Now she's throwing me in such office and chambers and completely discreet about it. I want to play pretend. I was here for someone like Theodora to be head over heels for me. She's. I couldn't finish my sentence as I knew that she was very, very attractive. That's not the point. I'm not manipulating someone's feelings in the off chance that she is concerned. I'm trying to take guesses on how many hearts she's manipulating. I don't care how many times she's done it. Two wrongs don't make a right. I'm able to go along with this idea. Father suggested. Unless, of course, you want to make a date. Or is there some lonely woman you might not want to see yourself? No plans, no, I don't have a girlfriend. Nor am I interested in finding one right now. Damn. He sighed dramatically, teasing me slightly, but he knew very well why I wasn't interested in finding a relationship. I couldn't begin to guess what happened to me as excuse was. The king wasn't taking it. Probably because he wasn't taking it. Father cleared his throat. Well, the book is able to be a few minutes. I must step someplace. We'll need about an hour. Alcohol. I don't know. But I said something. This is too much. I only wanted to be gone for as quick as I could get there. Time with day, and then hide under the now I have to work much, much longer with Theodora. Fine, I figure someplace since I'm neglecting books. But as a council member, it's no ridiculous. No ridiculous thoughts. Thank you, Vero. You should leave you to get ready. Oh, and maybe let her know to grab something nice just in case you want to take her somewhere special. If she's starting to you don't want to take her someplace expensive. It will make you look bad. What happened to no ridiculous? Fine. I let her do anything until after meeting. I figured we'd check her room while she's in bed. I didn't appreciate the honest sarcasm I've seen and started walking around. I opened the door and opened it to see Theodora patiently waiting on the other side of the hall. My family went their separate ways. I felt my parents members of course. We could do it over a late lunch dinner. This is surprising. Yeah, place at your choice. go someplace more expensive if you can. There you go. Day teachers. I'm trying to think of rather than a teacher. I give you no I'm trying to do anything. I'm sure about your foster. My outside teachers stayed gone. If I could just heal over the dying, that wouldn't have been such a horrible thing. I just wanted to visit a simple bit of there. The day after not to mention I had technically looked her over. Day, please speak to me. I had to leave. I could place I had one for this kind of teacher. You are almost idiots. Studying close to me, purposely just close enough that I might be able to take me. I watched some of her walking face as far as possible on her mind, the top of her head being at my nose. But it's a really fancy dress. Dragonstone, I hear it's nice, though I haven't been since I was a child. I've always wanted to go there, but never had anyone to go. Sure, I took a step back. All right, we'll go there. We'll come back here, and you can change on time. Yeah, I have to get dressed now. Meet you in the courtyard in half an hour. Sounds like a good plan, Prince Anna. She twirled slightly as she turned and started down the hallway with a skip to her step and a song in her voice. See you soon. I went into my room and closed the door, taking a much-needed breather. This was going to be impossible to keep professional. I had no idea what to say, and everything that I did say could be implied in some other way, in ways I didn't want. Father and Aunt Amelia owed me big for this, especially if Dragonstone was as expensive as the rumors claimed. I told Day to inform the king on the slight change of plan and started towards my bathroom for a desperate need of a shower. It wasn't a long one, but it was enough to get any of the grossness I felt before heading to the dresser, getting dressed for me. A few minutes later, preparing my brushing my teeth. I started to pace as Day came in from the balcony, successfully furnished, eyeing me from the back. I continued to pace slightly, trying not to lose it. It wasn't a date, it was a duty dinner. Why was this feeling like a date? All I wanted to do today was get my books, read over my books, maybe draw, and attend the princely duties for a change. That monster from yesterday had the room given. I stopped my pace, taking a breather as my chest gave a slight ache. I hoped my outing did not include running or fighting, or being jumped on by a bunch of twerps. That would be bad. I checked over the earring Dave's bag and was sitting on the floor. I still had my arm raised, something I wish I had remembered to put on before fighting. I turned to the closet and looked inside. If I was going to Dragonstone House, I was going to have to be more fancy than just a dress shirt. And I didn't feel like wearing armor to that, just fancy clothes. I pulled out a suture and threw it on the desk as a reminder to actually wear it. I looked over at the few of the footwear I had. My boots and a pair of shoes. I was going to be wearing my boots for now at least. I need to wear shoes. If you're wearing something fancier, yes, you should wear shoes. They stated out loud, bored sounding. You are greatly overthinking this. Am I? Yes, you're fine. There is no need for panic. I calmed down slightly. Thank you. It's not a date, as you say. I nodded, taking a breather. I went to the table as I noticed a new blade on it and picked it up. I unsheathed it and swung it around. It wasn't as heavy as my original sword, but it was much heavier than the other one, making me feel much more confident in fighting anything that came by. I sheathed it again, putting it on the sword belt I was already wearing. I feel like this is fire, and it's going to burn me. Impossible. She growled. Do more fire. And this time, the fire is intangible. A horrible thing to measure by. I feel like I'm adding fuel to an unattended fire, and it's going to get me killed. Just remember, this isn't a date. It's a professional date. One you are clearly needing more of because you are a complete mess for it. Well, I don't get much practice, all right? I sighed, thinking about what Father had said. Maybe I should interact with people around my age. I'm sure the city is filled with people like her, right? I can imagine. She grabbed a subconscious thought and brought it to the surface. Stress was not helping. Sure, it was self-inflicted stress, but improbable issues. But we were there all the same. I might have to blame her. Yes, she would be answering if you left her now. And that is just a world I don't want to imagine. That's true. Chapter 15. Elwood Garden. I stood in the courtyard as Day sunbathed on her favourite rock. I was a bit surprised to find that we had arrived first, and pleased that that was the case. Climbing down a million stairs, then through a million hallways was a bit rough on my system. Day offered to help with coming and going, but I refused. I liked being independent, even if it was a regrettable decision. My recovery was quick, and like clockwork, the door creaked behind me as soon as I knocked. The door that notified me of people coming. People I might not have necessarily liked was probably my favourite door in the whole castle, and there were a lot of doors within the structure. I turned to it and saw Theodora entering the large space with her dragon, Gabrielle's, regally behind her. I had never seen a dragon quite like Gabrielle's. He wasn't the large dragon I had seen, that went hard flames, but he wasn't small and big either. His scales and wings mimicked the night sky, the base colour being red. Other purples, blacks, blues, and greens separated his body in the form of a nebula. Quite the contrast to the copper auburn, pale woman in front of him. They made each other stand up. His main element was fire, like my own, but he was so very different from other fire-based dragons, and due to his design, I was pretty sure he also had the capabilities of learning dark magic. But as far as I knew, neither he nor Theodora had ever already that I intended. Dark magic teachers and books were hard to come by, and there was a great risk if you messed up. But the rewards, once the wielder understood it, were great. A calculated risk I was sure that neither of them were planning on taking. Gabrielle's closed the door with a slender tail. He felt sure that his spines wouldn't get in the way as his partner walked up to me. I stood up, straighter than normal, and breathed. You ready to go? Yes, and you look better now that you're out here. You feel better now that she mentioned. If only a little bit. Castles tend to get a bit stuffy. She gave a small laugh and was sure of joy. I could explain my investment here. You prefer to be outdoors. I do. Too bad duties are inside. It would be nice if we were all outdoors, just a desk and field or something, but I suppose the wind would be a hazard to papers. I commented awkwardly and changed the subject. We should get going. I promised to be at the falls next time. The funnies, they are the book eaters, correct? That's them. I've seen it at the front. Conversation. The library has always succeeded in giving me what I need for research. With the help of strength and I don't think anyone would have that based on some students. The King's collection is also large. What are they drawing on your desk? Your landscape of the sea is incredibly detailed. Drew it from the main tower roof. Yeah. That was something for my toilet. The drawing was a work in progress. It all drawn out, but it still needed progress. How could you tell us all that? The way the sun's set, the angles are really highlighted from up there. Also, you can't see how the city walls from any other location in Sheffield. Quite like it. You've taken a lot of details, huh? Just to help me. Sheffield is much bigger than Nervin, and I like not being caught off guard, so I pay attention to everything in case I need it for later. I don't think I've been to Norway. It's to the south, central south of England, in the province of Brixton, right? I'm surprised to know it is so. I like maps, and there was a time I enjoyed exploring. So small, unknown towns like Norway were on my list. Well, ironically, for a town called Norway, there are ruins everywhere from the second World War. It was a strong that side became then. It was eventually brought inside by King Roy during his expansion conquests. how ambitious my grandfather was, but he left quite the mess when it came to make sure our people could be supported and protected, both the old king and the new ones. I stood, hoping that he would dampen down the glory idea that she had in her tone. He was a great conqueror, but he also made a lot of mistakes on just thinking about expansion and nothing else for the longest time. It caused a lot of instability throughout the kingdom, more than a few outland monsters came to try and undo what he had tried to accomplish, making it also a dangerous time. Though with his conquest, he had destroyed the outland peoples, which lessened the spot, but that idea came to a swift end when it came to a tribe of outland dragons that lived in the mountain range he tried to conquer. I never met him, but I knew he was a great man, if not wholly foolish. My town exists because of his efforts, so foolish to grasp at his ambition so strongly. So bad that he depends on the point of view. Though that did bring up a question for me to ask, and much later. Why did she come to a city so far from her home? We mounted and headed towards the falls. Thankfully, the flight was wonderfully uneventful. We didn't chat much, since it was suggested that we should over food, but the conversation would be more than appealing. I agreed. Food did make everything better, even if it was a conversation with someone I wasn't sure how I felt about. She was surprisingly pleasant to be around, now that I was left to my own thoughts to reflect over our rather long chat. I was still unsure if she was acting or not. The instinct said she wasn't, but it could be wrong with optimism. Politicians were not doing it. It was one of the things I had learned about training to be friends, and eventually they learned as I got up, here in theatre at no far. There was a children there to greet me. It was a bit off-putting since I had got used to the grand greeting, as it was really. The door was absorbed in the folly library, or they were able to play outside. I knocked on the door since the sign outside said it was closed, and waited. I hoped it wasn't interrupting me alone time after I had mentioned yesterday, but I was much better than I had ever been, so I wasn't. A mutter of shout from the other side, just to meet. Theodore came up beside me, giving me a heart attack. I think usually takes these. He goes in short bursts to have a kid, promise. He's probably the most punctual person in the world, if not the universe, and needs to have a set schedule in order to be happy. But today, though, Evander had a trip planned, and so he wanted some alone time before he left. I'm guessing you come here after we go. Not necessarily excited, but some more people. The door opened before he asked more questions, revealing the blonde-haired, hazel-eyed Evander. He looked surprised to see me as he did a over Theodore, and then around to see if anyone else was around. Good afternoon, Pharaoh and Lady Theodora, right? She nodded. Apparently Evander was just as observant of her as she was of him. I frowned slightly at the tension. Is something wrong? He opened the door. You came to the yes. I nodded hastily and walked in as he moved out of the way. Theodora followed with Day and Gabrielle's following me home. Evander disappeared into the office just as Tetra appeared at the top of the stairs and off. She looked down at us. Hey, did you let yourself in? No. What was going on? Before I could ask that very question, Evander called from the office. I let him in, dear. Please keep in mind that I told you. Tetra stayed with him, and I broke into the conversation before it got any further. Sorry for being late. I know your plans. No, frankly, we're happy you were much later than expected. As he walked back into the foyer, my face was in hand, and two paper parcels. I took them and put them in his lap. And what is happening? Lots of the piece surgery. All right. I decided as she descended the stairs. You want to take Claudius for a while? I think you will go crazy before the day's out. I don't have a of things to complete which changes without warning. Just right. Speaking of schedules, she looked at the clock, and my mind on that. You didn't happen to see him walking by, did you? We were planning on doing this. He paused, careful about each word she made. Not often Claudius is late. I hope nothing's happened. Lydia paid a few guards on their off time to watch that day, so I tapped. Late tonight can't take any more reading and begged for a break. I guess that was the way of doing it, taking them outside and far away from books. I looked over at Evander as he shuffled nervously. Something wasn't right. Are you sure there isn't anything wrong besides Claudius being late? Well, the temple was attacked yesterday according to the news, which had given way to rumors of ghosts, Tetra explained. It's probably nothing but vandalism and nothing being reported, I presume. So you have it must be an old superstition, but it seems like it has vanity few things sometimes. I spoke with the matron about it. She says it's relatively normal, just to be aware of it since these spirits haven't been active in a while. I'll bring it up with the guard to make sure that the city is guarded more frequently, especially with the announcement of the festival still going on. Honestly, I think the soldiers should be on it from the beginning, not leaving it up to a priest to get their asking here. We've been busy. Just give the commissioner a quick reminder and I'll get on it. Thanks, Adam. Forgive me, I didn't see you, yeah, I wouldn't open that just yet. This is Lady Theodora Ring. She's the council member in charge of commerce and treasury of the castle. Gentlemen, welcome to our home, Lady Theodora. Thank you. Your place is quite lovely, very different from the other homes in the district. Theodora complimented with a surprising amount of sincerity. It reminds me of my home. Thank you. Your home must be right. I noticed Evander checked the clock and fidgeted with his sleeve. Claudius really should have been back on. It was only to get dogs. How long ago was Claudius supposed to be back? About an hour ago now. The father of the house answered, but a bit of his stress came from him. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. We can go and find you if you want. No, we can't impose. I'm sure you're busy. Claudius is nervously. I say so. Tetra, you mentioned that guards were ready. When did you wait? You were there. In the field, anything. You figured the extra guard and the trunks from there. They'd be behind you. Probably the safest place in Sheffield when you see home. I muttered. The garden wasn't very far. I'll go and check on it, but you should stay here in case he shows up. All of us can stay in case he calls for more of these places. Evander agreed, or I'll go. No, you will not. He's my hero. Talon has to rest very strict. Now, yeah, I will get it. She's been wanting to me a flag anyway. But if you want to buy, you take that there. The point stayed. Pointing back, the water dragon came in from another room. Evander saw him in. He apparently could not find the dragon, and we never got it. Oh, my dear, wait. Off to the garden, I suggested. The ladies and the forest, they were just playing. We exited and immediately started to explore the trees in the center of the city. If there wasn't a specific place that we could leave, specifically the field next to Bayonet Lake, not far from the western entrance, he would be a nightmare to search for. Patrols moved through there constantly to ensure the safety of not only citizens, but visitors from both the islands that the garden had, and from each other. The garden was its own ecosystem, full of caves, lakes, rivers, and trees that dwarfed even larger lakes, and almost all the buildings within the kingdom. And if not carefully controlled, it would and has made a great place for people to do horrible things to others. But like that cave in the license, don't say it's silent. I pushed the subject aside as we drew closer and wondered how the whole Elwood garden came to be. I had only known it to have been a great battlefield long before Sheffield came down. But all that was fast, and was long for us. The only thing that remained was the elemental magic left behind, was Alice, making it the natural most magic being used within its walls. I had heard that Dagdians had been able to focus their own magic capabilities there, even though they can't use elemental magic. Not to the same effectiveness, but clearly it didn't matter too much. Gabrielle's flew closer today, catching my attention, and I looked over at his rider to see her wave. I frowned. Something the matter? No, I'm just surprised. They would go out of your way and look for the kids. It's not that strange. I've done similar tasks before, just more so with this particular group. So that's what you do with an act. Being tortured and mediating fights, I dread slightly. But I'm also making sure they stay out of trouble. As long as people can be. Since still sitting in Claudius back in the day was no mischievous one. He still is, but now he's not asking random people questions on the world scenes, just me. And it probably gets out. No, actually, it's a lot of fun once I got pursuit. If I didn't know an answer, I get to have searching for one, and then we both learn something new. The others then get to find out what the answer was. When I tell them in words, they can understand. The other council members tend to think you're picking flowers off a map inside someplace. is the real challenge of the flowers coming into bloom. Theodora laughed slightly. It wasn't malicious, and I couldn't help but smile along. My smile faded as we dropped to the front entrance of the landing. A horrible feeling washed over me. There was something horrible inside. Theodora got closer to me as we followed Tetra inside, taking a bath. You look sick. Are you all right? Yeah, it's nothing, hopefully. Narita stopped sharply as Tetra gave a short scream. Dave rushed ahead, and I looked down to see a guard laying bloody on the ground. His dragon, nowhere to be seen. I hopped down and started looking for a pulse to find none. There's more of the patrol of Beatrix Arrow. Gabrielos growled with little emotion. I stood up and saw more of the guard just off the path in the brambles, a part of a dragon's tail farther in. I went over to them, finding the dragons scattered had lacerations that were nothing like I had seen before. No outland monster could have done this. I went to tell Tetra that she needed to leave as the bushes moved. I pulled out my sword and carefully treaded over. I guarded the bush and found the guard, looking slightly as tears streamed down his face. He looked at me. We don't want to die. My eye was in front of him, hoping to ease the stress. He relaxed ever so slightly, going back to talking. They came. I slaughtered them all. I couldn't do anything. Invincible. Invisible. His screams and moans. He clutched his head. Stop. We're going to come back. Where's your dragon? Safe. She couldn't stay. I was left abandoned. They came. They slaughtered them all. I don't want to die. But I was going to die. I stayed softly, hoping he would ease out of his ball. My stomach was reaching again. We're coming back. I'm doing what you need, because if you stay, you will. He looked at me in the eye for the first time, and a sense of realization went through me. Prince Aaron, you have to leave this place. I'm able to walk. He nodded, and I helped him up. Something soft went across the room, and I ran away. Okay, they slaughtered them all. I couldn't do anything. They made me listen. I called to him. He came over as he started screaming. I don't want to die, please. I can't help you. Leave me be. You've taken them all. He brought him out of the garden, set him on the ground carefully, as he went back to softly muttering the same phrase over and over, coming back and forth. My throat felt dry, watching him traumatized. I didn't know what he meant, what his team meant. The kids were still in. I turned to Tetra, who was just as ashen as the guard. Take care with him. City guards will be this way. Take care of him. I can't just stay here. You don't know what he saw. I had to go there. I go there, stand there, still crying. He needs someone to watch over. I'll go find the kids running around. Theodora. Theodora cut me off. You have to go in there now. I asked the king for a pardon, and have your eyes seen this house. I wanted to run before she. This was the reason why she came with me. A sharp scream came from the guard in the distance that I recognized as David. Come on. We mounted back up, and Dave went towards the sun as I started to run harder. No path lay before us as she went around each drop and branch, speeding up Shiren. Gabrielos kept up well as we went around, hoping for another noise from her. The trees broke slightly to the left, and the light sparkled in the sunlight, giving a sense of security even though deep down I was on the edge. Trees hung over the water's edge, some hovering about a third way over the lake. Some small beaches separated by small streams and rivers, and farther into the water. There was the main spring to the first spring garden. Someone was out there watching. I wasn't sure, but I didn't want anything. The air had moved as the trees blocked out the sun, making the sensation ready to come back upon it. Theodora broke the silence by waking me to read. If the circumstances were better, this place would be a lot more appealing. Normally, the circumstances are never like this. But to me, this place is beautiful. I stated, I wouldn't mind going back once whatever is in here is gone. There's something about this place that is just... She couldn't find the words, but I knew what she meant. It was the same feeling I had every time I came. Another sharp scream went through the garden, much closer than it was before, only a few hundred meters ahead. The bushes moved slightly, and they went out. The thing moving in them grew closer, and suddenly, Larry tripped out into a clearing, falling into the earth. They landed in front of her, causing her to scream. I jumped off, and I went over to her. She looked up at me, just as terrified as the garden was. I walked in front of her as Gabrielos and Theodora. It's okay, we're here. She didn't finish, as she started crying, and I helped her off the ground. She threw herself against my chest, and I wrapped my arms around her. She broke down, but it didn't sound like there was much left for her to give, as the crying quickly turned to sniffles and whimpers. It's all right. I started softly. Nothing could hurt you. She only nodded as she continued to cry. When you're ready, can I start telling you? We were playing the cards too fast to hurry. She couldn't record, incapable of looking away from it. Juno, where's Juno? We'll find her. They told her in public. What were you running from? Laura asked, and Lyric pulled herself from my chest in front of the new voice. She settled down slightly and answered, Monsters, what monsters? They chased us as they cried. She turned back, her eyes wider than saucers. I want Juno, girl, please find her. I will. I started because of her. The crying monsters were not letting her. She started crying again, and I stroked her hair, trying to calm her down, only to realize something. She pulled herself from me again, and I started to look around frantically. Sweet answer, as I noticed the bushes moving from where Lyric had come. Theodora pulled out her pole, and it extended to a bush. Blades came out of it on either side. A bundle of purple scales blasted out of the bushes and came to a rolling stop in front of us. The little dragon attempted to stand, towards the bushes he had escaped from, before collapsing under his own weight, still ground. I looked over at the council and in confusion, who replied to the same note. Neither of our dragons since came from the mountains and forest. Suddenly, the sound of whimpering came from the direction, otherworldly almost, and my stomach dropped. It sounded devastating. I never would do this. A small mouse came from the bush, and Lyric answered, It's here. Lyric whispered, and he flew nervous. I dashed out of the bushes, and at full sprint. They reacted to the movement by crawling downward faster than I could pull out my blade. The creature screamed in agony before disappearing out of her mouth, and reappearing in the clearing between me and the eye, still coming at us. Lyric screamed sharply in my ear as I put out my blade. I pulled Lyric to the side as a claw hand came down at us. I slashed at it. The sword went through the creature, and it didn't exist. A claw to carry through the attack. Its claw-like nails whipped my skin, slicing into my neck. I held my tongue as pain rolled up from the wounds. It went to attack again, and I punched it with my free hand in its face. The punch connected. The creature walked away, nothing at all. Blocking Lyric in it, who had crawled behind me from the thing. I ready for another attack. Ignoring the creature. The creature okay, well, I can't exist. The trees are bounding my shoulder. My heart was skipping. I realized that the creature was not pursuing. She bit as some of her skin sagged to the torn white robe that was starting to fall off it. I looked up, suspiciously back. In other places, skin was missing, showing off muscle and farm. Her arms and legs. Her hair was a rat's nest, with some of her skull showing out into an empty eye socket that made me show it that matched the purple iris in her eye. What the kind of creature was this? I'm sorry. Exhaustion freezing my body. I want to be home. Make me home. I don't understand. I started trying to the creature as she preached. I'm alone, so alone. The whispers went too soft for me to hear, and Theodora called my name. It's more than just that. I looked away for a second to see that I had got friends. Different races, different states of the game, completely unaware of the other's existence. The monster gave a cry of distress, bringing my attention back to her. Join me, but that's not being allowed any longer. The woman charged, causing me to panic and suddenly, the woman froze in her spot, retching out, unable to move. I didn't know what was happening as Dave blasted a hot ball of fire engulfing me. The woman's screams of agony pierced my soul. I didn't have time to think it through. I questioned what the hell made the woman scream as I heard something happening behind me. Gabrielos and Theodora were moving swiftly. Their sharp screams for salvation echoed in the garden long after the traces of remains were gone. I looked down at Lyric, who was gripped tightly against me and her dragon, and I tried to pretend that the thing it wasn't almost the most terrifying thing I had ever seen. Are you all right? She nodded. I switched to my hand, clutching it. She was carefully put my blade away, leaving to escape pain from the laceration. Theodora came for you injured. I hesitated before nodding, lifting him up. Astonished, seeing something was nothing more. You should wrap this before we start fighting again. I turned my attention back to Lyric on my other arm. Were those the monsters chasing? She nodded. I had the best to pull back. Outland monsters can't. Outland monsters are scary. I agree. These are hit an outland monster, and they could sense those things. She shook her head. Blood is talking against me, and the guards will take over, but they still found us. They have to go out there, but he's seeking the old, and that's why he left us alone now it started. She couldn't finish and started crying again. Kneeling down in front of her. It couldn't run away, and then I fell into the mud. I lost Juno. Jasper, where did you last see her? She looked around before shaking her head. I don't know. It's okay. We're going to find her. You have to be a little brave. I don't want to be brave. I'm like, oh, those things are so scary. They're screams. She broke down again. I sighed silently to myself. Theodora did upper and down, leaving me to try and soothe the scared child. I'm scared too. You can't be scared. You're brave. You're braver than I ever be. So if they scared you, they definitely scared me. Stop it. It's true. But one thing about being brave is that you can't be that if you don't get scared. Those monsters are really scary. Yeah. She wasn't calming down as much as I wanted her, which was going to be a problem if the monsters were attracted to the sound. But I'm so small and big is useless. And the young bride shrunk to the ground. Lyric turned to him. Well, it's true. Maybe a little bigger. Maybe you didn't have to. Theodora suggested, appearing next to me. Giving me a heart attack. I hadn't noticed she had moved behind me. She knelt next to us, and Lyric turned her attention to me. Did you receive? Capianos, a game. It's your name, right? Theodora asked an infinite number of questions, and the girl nodded. Do you like games? Suspicious. This doesn't seem to be trying to be playing games. This is Lady Theodora, and I think a game is a good idea. I answered, and she looked up to the counselor. Suspicious, like I said. The monsters won't be. If you play well. She was silent. She looked back and pushed before turning back. Take this too far. I'm tired. Theodora promised. Lyric nodded, a small smile coming to her face. Before we go again together, I suggested for her. One of her friends' most friends gets a yummy dessert. I like desserts and ice cream. Lyric nodded. I nodded. I know, so do the other kids. We have to win. They won't have my cake, the girl declared aggressively and stood straight up, ready for victory. Let's go. I'm hungry. Maybe I will beat the both of you. We'll see. I'm somewhat childish to give the illusion that we were going to play. She liked the competition. Or the hide-and-seek dragon. Can the lady come play too? Lyric asked as they climbed up there, who was already lowered to the ground. Won't you be a stranger? She seems nice. You seem pretty happy with the invitation, and I gave. We have sugar if Lady Theodora wants to. Lyric turned her attention. And they smiled. I can't. Yay! The girl cheered and climbed up Daisy. I turned my attention to Theodora as we stood. Thank you for helping. It's not kids. Kids are kids. Kids they are. Still, she seems to like you. She doesn't like strangers, but putting the effort to make you a friend speaks volumes. She's a cautious one. Never ever. She's pretty smart. Come on. You know it's so easy. Let's do this. Yes, we are. I muttered before turning to the woman next to me. First, she gave a small laugh at my joke. Gentleman laugh. I tried. She walked over to Day and jumped, landing with grace on her lap. I joined the three, then as Day took off, Gabrielle's not too far behind. Lyric and Pip looked over the side of Day's, and I got on the other side as Theodora bandaged my arm with the other side of I'm surprised all day. I don't have so these fun. Theodora started up a conversation, and I looked over at her, signing and nodded before going back to searching. You know, the other dragon acting on it was Smith, and he sneaked his Gabrielle's prince out. Day flies a lot faster than this. For the sake of Lyric and searcher, I tried to laugh at Lyric's giggle at how fast we go. It's best that we don't. I jump into that. Kids, sometimes me. What are these? Hey, how can Lady Theodora calls you? Lyric asked. Oh, that. We're just citizens. Yes, that's the word. And I'm not a fan of titles when I'm in a casual setting. You mean playing with us? Yeah. So if they call you Prince Theodore. She said while exaggerating my name. It was a bit sharper than Adore speaking. Which is why you say Nikki, because you don't know her, like me. Corrected it. I'm so smart. I think you should let her call me Pam. And you should call her Theodora. It's talking faster. You think so, right? Yes, but I'm continuing to say Nikki because Mommy and Daddy told me to be polite with strangers. I don't think that. I told her uncomfortably as Theodora rolled my sleep. I put my guard and blood back on, avoiding my contact. Kids were great until they asked questions and told me everything all. Sure, Theodora was surprisingly nice with Lyric. Helped me calm her down, but I wasn't going to call her a friend. Chapter 62. Hide and seek. The land passed below us as we followed the lake, hoping that the kids that had run off stood near it like they were told to, in case they wandered too far from the field. Remember to yell when you see someone. I reminded Lyric as they swerved through the dense trees. It wasn't long after the words had left my mouth when the sounds of screams came from the distance. That's true now. Lyric stated happily, and I nodded. Theodora appeared over my shoulder. Come there. I turned to where she was looking, and a small black mass moved in and out of the trees and bushes. They got closer to reveal Juno was riding on top of Parker, who was being chased by the disturbing monsters, appearing and disappearing out of existence. Lyric cheered happily for finding her sister, but it was quickly silenced as she looked at the monsters in fear. They're going to find her. Not if I can help. I told her with the greatest confidence I could muster, hiding away the discomfort of having to go taste. Stay on Day's back, okay? She nodded eagerly, not immediately to the cross, and taking the black dragon going to be round. I turned to Theodora with the plan. I'm going to go grab Parker. If you can grab Juno, we'll bring him up here while Day and Gabrielle incinerate the monsters, since you know that works. As you wish, Princess. They landed, and the two of us jumped off, causing the small dragon to stop sharply, almost throwing off his line. Juno brushed her hair out of her face as I passed her to the council. We jumped up to Day's back with surprisingly no issues. Fire raged behind me as I picked up Parker, who was a lot heavier than I was expecting. I joined the others without a problem, though I had a feeling that I was going to pay for the excursion later, especially if I had to pick up more time fragments. I placed the dragon down as the monsters were extinguished, and turned to the two girls. Juno seemed unhurt physically as she hugged Lyric to run, and Day took off to the forward hill. Hopefully the others were along the way holding feet. Once Juno settled down, 100 questions came from her, hoping I had answers from what the monsters were, all the way to reveal those. Thankfully, Lyric answered most of them, as I continued to listen and search for the others. The discussion ended a few minutes later as I asked them to be quiet, as I heard something in the distance. They quieted and for a moment there was silence. The high-pitched screams of Jasper overcame. The boy and his dragon were running along the river's edge that paralleled the lake shoreline, being chased by a lot more of the monsters, the distance between them closer than I wanted them to. They flew over the boy as I dropped down, not waiting for her to land, and in between them and the monsters. Fire went across the bushes, and monsters, as I crouched one, dropped too close, and out of the fire with a left hook. The creature, a man this time, went into the fire, screaming for revenge. I turned to Jasper, who stood up in disbelief, breathing heavily. A red mark streaked across his face like it was whipped by a branch. Leaves and sticks stood out of his hair, and a sore thumb and somehow stayed put as he got off second. I knelt down in front of him as Gabrielle flew around the island, opposite today's flight path, as they searched for monsters. Are you all right? Nothing broken? Me? The boy questioned, crossing his arms like he wasn't just screaming for his life for help. Of course, I would have fought them myself, but I was helping shouting would help the girls find me since they ran up. I didn't want them to get close to the net while I fought monsters. Is that what that shrieking was? Yes, and it wasn't shrieking, it was a direction for the girls. I wasn't running away from those things either. So you weren't retreating? No. A strategic movement away from the enemy. Yeah, that was the thing, Rose. Jasper couldn't keep up the fight any longer as he ran into me, throwing me off balance for a second. Those things were going to eat us. It was a big thing. It's okay, I don't expect you to. I explained softly. You did the right thing. I kept running, even if you couldn't protect the girls on your own. Sure, I never go safer. Did I do that? With all the monsters after you? Yeah, I think you did help. Don't think I was staying late. I sure did. No. So why don't we get on today, and we can continue looking forever. We can talk later, okay? Yes or no? Okay, thank you for saving me. Are you okay? Yeah, I ran into a few trees, but I'm okay. Good. Day landed next to us, and she lowered herself to the ground to let Jasper climb up, but Zebra stayed behind, refusing to move from his flopped over position. Jasper told him to move, and the dragon moved in the mountains. Baby dragons were cute. They didn't talk much, but still retained the same amount of size through different actions and sounds. He was clearly dumb. I held back a small smile, the memory of Hay being exactly like him at his age. Did you want me to carry you? The dragon wagged his tail once, thumped me on the ground, but I picked him up carefully. Zebra was a little heavier than Parker, as I put most of his weight over my shoulder. I jumped up to Hay before setting down the exhausted bundle of skates. She took off, and I turned to the other children. Jasper wasn't crying as much as the others were, but keeping his pride straight away. It was going to take a long time to outside too. After a few minutes of fun, having no immediate direction to go, Jasper calmed down enough for him to ask me questions. Did you happen to know where they got the free? He shook his head. I thought so. Not really. I said Claudius might be over the southern entrance for the feed. The three of us were separated from all the inhabitants. The two mountains had a short shoulder. But still the end of the feed. How long ago was that? Not too long, I don't think. I'm not good at telling how long something takes. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. He gave a small smile that was only for show and nothing more. You told him everything you know. Jasper took my words on it, and the three kids went over their stories together. I looked out the lake and trees everywhere. I had to believe that the guard was taking care of the others. Theodora moved next to me, and I looked over at her father before turning to foliage. How much farther is the heat from here? He'd say. She asked just now from each ear, and I replied the same thought. Not much farther. As he ran, it's fine. Nothing moved. This was more exciting than what I had planned for today. It's a good thing I went with you. I nodded. I appreciate it. You could have gone back to the castle or stayed outside. I know you're not right, so you had no obligation to stay. I said I would back you up if something happened, so I had. I don't need to be a knight or a guard to know how to fight time. There are black monsters. These things are entirely different things than the traditional ropes. She giggled slightly. You can't tell I wasn't the wonderful young boy in appearance. Could you have gone your whole life and never seen me? Yes, me too. The conversation as the trees fell to a field where a large dragon and a guard stood with a few fallen comrades around. We landed next to the lake and huddled under the large dragon, caps and halting with their dragons. The guard also enjoyed sweating greeting us before asking the obvious question. Prince Anna, what are you doing here? Firstly, we other kids dropped from day and gathered with their friends. I heard there was a patrol and another guard with you. Was this? My words trailed off with a few guards and they were no longer alive. And the guard nodded after clearing his throat. Father went after Claudius, when he decided to play hero. Neither of them has returned. The monsters haven't come back to me from stable, and they will come back. Damn it. I didn't like the odds, guard or not. Claudius had a head start, and he was good at getting out of sight. He was 7, and I wasn't sure if the elements would kill these creatures if his dragon was even capable of doing that. Claudius could climb, but who's to say the monsters would? I went to ask which direction he went, and the temperature dropped significantly, sending a chill through my spine. Over here, guys! Claudius called from behind me, and I turned. Just outside the bushes at the field's edge, Claudius' one hair stood out. The kid waved, making sure he had our attention. A wave of relief fell over me. Claudius, come play with me! The boy interrupted before disappearing back into the garden, his voice echoing the open field. Come on! Claudius, this isn't the time for playing! I shouted, as I only received a laugh that was grown distant by a second. Claudius! There was no response, and a horrible feeling came back, worse than before. I turned to the guard and Theodora. The kids shuffled with unease. Why does he want to play right now? Derek asked what everyone was thinking. Everyone wants to sing. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I answered her and turned to the guard. Tetra, Claudius' mother, should be waiting outside the west entrance. Please take the kids there and she'll take them home. Head to the nearest station, he'll contain the garden, and then tend to your wounds. What about you, Prince Anna? You're not really going to the garden. I'm going to have to. We can't take all the kids back on me to the ground. Leave Theodora with them. Prince Anna, you can't tell them. What's happening there? The council are trying to change my mind. I just shook my head. Let me find Theodora. I'm more distracted if I'm worrying about those things attacking while they need their escape. I need to get the monsters that had started to come from the forest. She turned around and a sneer formed on her face. Gods, we can't just piss off. No, we can't. So, we need to protect her while I get Claudius. She turned back to me before sight, waved her to the yes, no. Arrow is running. I'll be back. You can't just give me permission to avoid tactics and run off. Theodora grunted, and I shrugged slightly before getting back on Day and Paul, taking out a few monsters and horses. A large hollow creature went nearly over and over, forcing me to separate from Day, who couldn't fit inside. I walked in, and on the other side was a subsection, a cavity much too thick for Day to try to get through. And the end line broke, leaving me in a hazy twilight. It wasn't the most pleasant place to be in on a good day, let alone with terrifying ghost monster things around in front. I took my steps carefully, trying to avoid getting branches from bushes in the face and large branches on the ground. Claudius, this isn't the time to play games, you know that. Where's everyone else? The boy asked, just then, telling me we were going in the right direction. I invited everyone, not just you. They're heading home, they don't want to play in the garden with these monsters. I tried to reason, to get him slowed down, but no matter how fast I went, he was still always the same distance away. The guard had moved off the ground, as I can't be completely beyond the outside. The bushes started to move, as they couldn't grow as much without help. Come on, your mother is worried sick for you. No answer came, except for a laugh. Claudius! I stopped moving for a minute later, trying to figure out where to go. My chest ached a bit from the run. Suddenly, the laugh came from every direction. We saw it. Where did he go? Where did he go? I turned to look up to the sky. Hey, what's it up there? I can't see anything, and those monsters keep trying to follow you inside. At least I know they kept getting in front of my house. I looked around, trying to figure out where the kid was. The temperature dropped again. Claudius, you found me, he answered from behind me, and I turned around, taking a few steps back as Claudius to see us. A few centimeters away. How did he without me noticing? It's not to play. No, I didn't do that. That's boring. No, it's... Arrow, run away! The voice of the same giant shouted behind me. Claudius was in front of me, beginning to move his mouth. A small smirk crawled across the kid's face behind me. But I grabbed it. No kid should any of them make such a face. I turned away and ran towards where the kid Claudius was. I wasn't there to find some weird idiot bubble again. I was there to find Claudius, and whatever that was not him. Chapter 17. Snooping. Adeline felt really as she going through some of my reporters, but it was a necessity. What was she looking for? She didn't know, but the room was meticulous in its order. She had a dreaded feeling that if she moved anything, Theodora was going to notice. But if she was careful, maybe she wouldn't get suspicious and just leave the thought as the servants came. They had to move things to get the job done. She closed the desk door and turned to her father, who was going through a bookshelf. I feel like we need to try those. Someone came forward with her son. I'm fearing he might be right. If there was anything written down, she would have easily destroyed it after you turned it down. And again, for guidance and she growled somewhat jerky. There is a coupon on time ago when they were hired, but I suppose she probably would have casted them out of mercy by now. She didn't like the implications of his being unreserved. All right, fine. Whatever it may be. Well, she wasn't sure how to put it into words. He never talked about her now. He looked towards the door to the room, really looking for an excuse to swindle out of the discussion. The excuse came, just reminiscing of her lately, trying to figure out what he would do in times like this, discuss things together like the old days. Has he been successful? No, not really. What she said, some monsters, no, and you. She gave a small giggle at the thought of Aaron causing him worry. She liked to avoid danger. As for herself, there wasn't much either of them could do about it. She found this, she was most curious about. Anyway, he's going to be nice to talk about monsters. I don't want to send him to investigate. I don't know why. He's fought monsters recently. He's not going to get cold feet. But how they are acting is what's worrying me. Even where they first appeared is incorrect. They avoided the walls, somehow getting inside, between the city and the temple. Their first intention should have been you and me. But most of them went to the street, ignoring most of the citizens' nuts and gone. They went after him. He's already on the HSTs. I had to ask him to test my theory with few of the demons he carries. And near from. She could have said that he could have, and that if he didn't, he'd have to suck it up. But that wasn't what he expected. Not at all. You're worried that thing in the reports might be happens. I don't know. I don't want to do. I want to lose him or lose you in case that thing has more intentions than what we know about. But nothing is pointed towards that it may have lived or was behind the stairs. If there is no evidence of that thing, let it go. Don't have to from us, me. The only other reason for the monster to go after the two of you would be a more absurd situation. Iris wouldn't bother to go after her. He's not a threat to her. Would have left anything outside these walls. Unless he found that Alison, if she's out was not a fellow kid. He didn't care about it. He'd be wondering why he was shouting. Which brings us to the circle of his first assignment. He's going to expect all nights of their first assignment within a week of their night. And you don't want him anywhere near the walls. Walls? Clearly that isn't even a factor anymore. They quit anywhere. No. He stopped mid-sentence as he disappeared in his thought. A look she often saw with him whenever he switched them. They were always there, but their timing to this one. She waited a few moments before breaking his thought. Something crossed your mind. Ah, he shook his head. No, it's nothing. It wasn't nothing, but she wasn't going to argue with him. Well, you can't think of something safe. There's something to dig. That's nothing. Just like a full dragon like that. Then what did I'll think honest of it. I know how to read it, so I'm sure I follow. He looked at her with affection. I'm just glad that you actually shared your troubles this time, so gentle. He gave a small pound at her jam before beckoning her. Come, let us search the house rooms. His steps were long and graceful, and she scurried after him, catching up with him to walk at his side. There was silence as he went back into thought. He saw the rooms. Ah, Father, I know what. I wish you were so. I counsel downstairs. He stopped and to her. If you could continue the search. Please be careful. I'm always careful. She goes, you don't not. He gave a small chuckle. What was that? It's fine. How do you know where he is? I just do. A small frown formed on his face slightly. Something wrong? Not that I'm aware of. He looked down low, just a bad feeling. Strange. He disappeared and went on his way, leaving her dumbfounded. She hated how he did. What was the bad feeling? It certainly didn't come from her. What had he committed to? She went into Edith's office. Why don't you just sit there? She cheered. She could see on her hands. It didn't take too long to conclude that there wasn't anything inside Edith's office other than a lot of paperwork. It was in plans and organized, but incredibly different from how Theodora organized. Looking around, seeing a picture of Edith's family on the desk, and there it was still very there. So I wondered if Edith wasn't a completely cold prick. He cared about at least his family, and maybe, just maybe, she and her brother hadn't realized how he was. He was the health and education counselor. He was probably a dick for sick, sure the important stuff was done in some way or another. She had to talk to him on a personal level, and about Theodora. For that moment, she was just fine from down low. She got away from the desk to the bookshelves at the front, when she casually went into conversation before she went, but never bothered to think of them as, well, worth talking to, like friends. The thought of the little group of kids was a weight on her shoulders. She didn't have friends of any kind. Anyway, he hung up his feet, but she is. She didn't talk to many of the priests and sisters in the temple. Nella was her mentor in runs, her teacher in home duties, all spans of subjects and classes, while retired, so she was just moving lives. Someone she confided in either. Jacob the butler and Ramsay the head chef had taught her things, and while Jacob was impossible to hide her well-being, she never spoke to him about anything super important, letting him be the judge to grab her father from whatever task he was working with. He was the only one who could, after all. The only people she really talked to heart were her uncle, father, and brother. But even her uncle and brother, she couldn't confide in them for everything. It was too risky. That was left to the king, and he wasn't available at the drop of a hat. Would learning to be less reserved with Theodora and Edith allow her to take away whatever feeling she was feeling at the thought of those kids? She didn't know, but she could try. It seemed to help her brother. She wasn't going to bother to have any relationship with the other two beings who worked for her father, as their days were numbered. But what did one do with friends? They took time, right? She didn't have a lot of free time, split between two places constantly. It probably didn't matter too much. Whatever friend she got, if she ever got one, was just going to have to accept that. She didn't need to be well-liked by masses. As far as Shiren, she was this mystery, or sometimes this mood, which was probably for the best. It put the spotlight on her. Letting them come up like vultures to him, rather than to someone who wasn't going to be willing or give much for them to feast on. She had her tasks, he had his, and above that was their father, who hopefully would continue to be their pillar for a long time to come. She wasn't sure about Aaron, but she knew that she needed their father. If something were to happen, tears started to her eyes, and she left the office, heading downwards. She needed to get out of her head. With her father and brother within their heads all the time, she couldn't fathom an answer. Clearly, they were masochists who enjoyed the torture of constantly overthinking. She entered, and not to her surprise, a bookshelf was dedicated to food. She gave it an overlook in the darkish room. She turned to the long curtains covering the window. She wished she could open them, but she went against her desire and turned to the bookshelf with actual books on. A loud belly laugh came to her ears from down the hall, causing her to freeze. Why was Oliver up here? Owen was supposed to be distracting him at the other end of the castle. The footsteps of his and another person were close, and she looked around. There wasn't anywhere to. Her eyes stopped at the curtains. She went over to them and hid behind them, placing herself on her toes and using the window as a bracer to flatten herself as much as she could. There was enough room for her behind the curtain, but she didn't want to her toes against or slightly leaning across her chest to hit them. The only time she had ever wished she wasn't given such a curvy body wasn't if Theodora's side, but this excursion. She stopped looking down and then, and realized she could see through it, not unlike she had looking at it from the other side. She focused on moving her room as Oliver and someone she didn't know came through the doorway. Oliver closed the door, and the figure, a man, of what ethnicity she wasn't sure, stole the chair at the desk, leaving all the rest. The large man spoke to her back to the For such a large castle, you think your office would be bigger? You have no college that I think of how unknown meetings you were in your closet. Oliver growled in annoyance. Is it safe to speak in such a place? The man continued, moving the conversation along. And Sarah, the nature of your request. As you said, the castle is huge. The others are elsewhere. Not without my request. Call Exploded. to get out, just as the creature disappeared, leaving behind flames and grass. It appeared a split second later in front of me. It grabbed my throat and picked me up to the high level before smashing me into the tree. My weakened breath was knocked out of my feet. I grabbed at his claw and skin was out, keeping him from crushing my throat, leaving me with bleeding up from my neck. Suddenly, the feeling of panic had begun to war my other senses, catching me down. His form changed, shrinking almost immediately, leaving me barely touching the ground. I looked at someone I saw every time I looked at my reflection. He looked quite confused at the situation. You are much more fulfilled than shining above. I wonder how much will it take before you go into a catatonic state. I'm aware I had a few things to say to the monster, but I didn't have the air to do. A while with your will. The garden faded out, replaced with the city its own. People looked up to more day. Kids played in the park. Others painted outdoor vendors. A siren whipped across the light shutter and birds. The city walked in view as outbound monsters poured over and through. Screams of people out of my view came from behind the tree. The creature held me to. The monsters came closer with the sounds of things breaking, people being torn apart. Stop it! I begged. Breathlessly, as the sound became vision, the monsters chasing after the people that were running. I couldn't help it. The scene switched to that inside the throne room. Like Lily and Father were near the center, speaking of the happening outside, as a seemingly wounded version of myself came in from the other room. They came over and were without fear before the Persian turned on them. A dagger, one of our owners' blades, swiftly taken from Adaminia's belt and shot under the king's chin and hit his head. At this moment, my sword cut her down. A final whisper came from Adaminia, asking why, before she grew still. The fake turned back into the monster. The real one gave us a distinct grin in front of me. They will rot, knowing that you killed them. They wouldn't. Nothing over the idea of that coming to pass overtook my words. Another vision of being trapped alone in the dark, unable to move. No one knowing where I was. To come safely as this monster wreaked havoc in my foot. The feeling of my distraught, of being abandoned, the seeing us be a monster. We were all going to die because of me. Just like your mother. The memory of the queen smiling down at me after looking at me trying to draw her for her birthday. The distant screams of agony from her teeth in the days of her life. She and my anger was broke his mind. I made him let go and punched him in his stupid face. Magic released itself from my attack and sent the creature across the clearing. I turned around, all fingers flashing from my sword. My breath hurt. But once he stopped, the creature, still in my form, stood up with burned from the area I punched him. He didn't say a word, but standing became an absolute every second. I read my sword. This thing was such a monster, and he needed to be so. And how was I swung around? Vision, fear threatening to block my chin. How came to defend easily? I growled, pushed out the thoughts and swore again, knowing it would connect. The attack went through the air as he teleported. The ground was singed, just like before. Familiar lines that formed into the ground reading. I turned around and felt something appear behind me and put out my sword. A set of claws raked against the blade, and I countered with a sword. It connected, and the doppelganger seemed to be damaged. His energy attacked me, and I stepped to the side. I rushed him before he could go anywhere, accidentally charging my blade in back. This thing wasn't going to win, even if it meant having magic to keep my family safe. Even if the demon knows they will all still perish because of the creature said most sympathetically, but didn't get to finish as I shoved my blade into its chest. The power of the sword inside was released and exploded outwards. The creature screamed, and I even flinched under the loud sound. Fire consumed the creature as it changed back into a demon. The demon light shattered, raining down the waves of the feet. I was so terrified. The feeling lay on the edge of a life and my breathing became slightly easier as I relaxed. The blade in my hand shattered, leaving behind part of the hip. Adrenaline faded, and the guilt fell out of my hand, and I went over to the closest tree, as dizziness took hold. My legs threatened to give out on me, and I braced against the solid trunk. How high could it be, he said. They thought, and I was comforted by your presence once again. It's only 2.5, he said. David, I missed you. Please, save it for later. I begged, as I could tell was flying down from his tree. I would have helped you, but I wasn't sure if I was able to make it go. I couldn't touch you. I barely made out the two shapes that were hovering towards me. I heard his hug. Are you okay? I gave out a sign. He said, what should be asking? Don't you point my gun? I'm fine, just in a few minutes, okay? The boy nodded, and I smiled. It was probably at that point, but I needed to. You were at the temple yesterday when those monsters attacked. Possibly. You had done us damage. I know. Claudius growled. You were just set out some garment, dragging my teeth. Sorry, I was concerned for your safety. I glared at you. You should try the inside for yourself. For notes and years of people. I looked at the door and saw. It wasn't a lot, but it was more than it was. It must have been a sound. It was me. Yes, we're both lucky that we're not in faith. You know, the front. Is something wrong? What he said was true. What do you mean? You're scared of getting evil. Your family is true. Not in a convention. I lied. I'm waiting. Makes me a liability. You're not lazy. You avoid your duties, but you are far from lazy. You are. I've never heard you beg. It's just that. What about me here? I looked around, unable to hide my grief. The noise of the gate, the screams. I just, as I threw the memories back into the broken vault, against the rules, I was like a wall by myself. I was attacked by monsters when I used magic. The queen came to see me. Then she was really sick and down. I don't know if it's my fault that she got sick. I don't believe it. It seemed horrible. I was standing before giving me a hug. Well, I don't think it was your fault. You will get sick regardless if you are stupid. I'd appreciate it if you kept what I've said to yourself. It's not something I want to be sharing. He nodded before asking another question. You're going to be magic tomorrow, right? Since you passed and all that. You start tomorrow. Yeah, but what happens when you leave and all monsters attack? I will not. I'll be there, just like today. You promise? Yeah. Everything I have to keep everyone safe. If I wasn't scared, do you think I would have come to get you? No, probably not. You wouldn't have thought twice about me being late. Should have done. Look at that. Two halves of scratches. You're like a bull or something. You're problems. I was either looking for you or running from the light. Being careful to not scratch myself was not on my to-do list. I groaned as I stood. A sharp pain cut my breathing sharply from the ribs where I had landed. The dizzy start came. Claudius looked up at the experiment. I gave a small smile. He went around and showed off the guilt I had rubbed out. I see things awesome. I bet it'll be easier than to do that trick. You don't practice magic. You think so, right? It's no wonder that monsters are so interesting. Study more about it to see if you know about other stuff. You do it. He didn't notice the hesitancy in my voice as we went for the exit of the room, using the same tactics that as I thought over what the demon had said before it died. As he walked close, I noticed Claudius grab at his arm. He walked over his forearm, where blood and now broken blood covered the rest. I grabbed his hand. Claudius took. Oh, this. One of those scary monster things is magic. It's great for all day. The way I was do now. I get the girls going to happen since I got protecting them. You're seven. You're not supposed to have battle scars from me. So, it's going to be awesome. And your mother's going to take you to the hospital and ruin the facade that you infected. I told him so. Also, I'm more than certain that the boy was sick. He don't think that it. He wanted to keep each other who's fought the monster too. He sighed before looking at used to play. He always excited to hear when you're coming around. If you really think that monsters, we were out sleeping, probably not beating myself. I didn't want monsters to attack, but a small feeling of doubt came that being a dragon was going to save Chapter 19. Nicole. Day brought us at the front entrance where Tetra stood with the other kids and Theodora. Claudius got down using Day's wing as a slide, and the other kids started bombarding him with questions. I pulled Tetra and Theodora to the side before the mother could start a round of scolding that I saw coming a mile away. Someone must have told her that Claudius had gone off to meet people. Sorry for taking so long. I knew you were afraid to Tetra gone, and I know exactly what was taking. What happened? I'm sure Claudius will tell you half a million times. Long story short, there was a monster that could shapeshift, tried to lure the others into the garden and kill them. The water stopped now, and Claudius is fine. He didn't need me for the most part. She turned away and went over to the white bear who was showing off his new wound. The kids were observing it with great praise of his heroics. Lyra made an offhand comment, inquiring if she was seeing Bolton. Tetra shut down the party. Claudius, this is not a game. This is serious. I know, he said happily as she looked over his arm. It's so cool now that the bleeding stopped. I'm going to the hospital right now. But wait, I'm not discovered. You might have lost an arm. I mean, could I? Those spirit monsters didn't seem like they could sever limbs. Claudius, this is not the time to be arguing. There was silence for a while as well. Noise, which Claudius flared in annoyance before turning back to his mother. I just shook my head slightly. At least their spirits were still high. I noticed Theodora was looking at me strangely. I gave a low mutter. No dear. She nodded, not arguing with me. I turned back. He goes straight to the hall. Oh, thank you, Carol. Tetra fell, and Theodora gave me a small moment. We've taken him safely. Before sighing dramatically. Oh, how could I find it? It's so cold. You're 7, right? Yeah, what of it? Do you think so? Do you think I could work with Arrow? You would have to work hard if you want to work with Vincent. And remember what he said. I'm telling you, you don't have a secret team. He hates devils. I wonder if he was surprised when I crossed Theodora's face. What's the habit? Are you not going to take our prince away like that, Lady Theodora? I withheld the sign. This competition was unnecessary. Keep me away. The kids piled onto Day and Gabrielle's, while Tetra, Claudius, and Cannibal climbed aboard Novena. They left first, disappearing behind me as the guard arrived at the entrance, armed and ready to take on whatever lay inside. We left, taking the little terrors home. I was delivering more wine I was not. Only that it was best for the kids to stay with the woods. And we left, not towards the castle. Gabrielle's flew closer as they walked. Why aren't we going to test this evening? Even if it's going to be sick. Before having first. Always remember surprise. I should be able to help the city, even not help her. The hosts will be faster with their notes and save anyone else than the beach out dinner. I told her, I need something to please. So I was thinking my shoulder pulse. I got it next to me, and I said I would straight. Please, you need to imitate. Good fun. New things broke at least. I might tell you if you drop hard things. I'll stop. Above the rest now, putting away, I found that my white shirt underneath was steaming in blood. Before hesitating, I didn't know what to take off my shirt. Is something the matter? No, it just would be rude to know. Take them out. Now take it off so we can see how bad it is. She stated bluntly. I wasn't sure how to respond. I've already seen you without a shirt today. I think we'll be okay. My mother and I wearing clothes. Yeah, this is no big deal. All right, don't take it off. If you think that's why I brought back that bled out prince because you didn't want to take off your shirt, he's not going to be happy. No, he wouldn't be. I wasn't. Arrow, just take off the shirt. They scolded at my shouts and stubbornness. But why should I do that? Because you are a trash. I'm like living. I growled at her. Fine, you both will. Maybe I should invest in more clothes or something. Theodora laughed, raising my spirits. You mean like a shirt? Yes, of course. I took off my shirt. I was going to need it to go into the shirt. She started from my shirt. I did. Wasn't supposed to do it. I felt that. It was that sort of tiny Claudius word. I growled, not to use my sarcasm. The kid that was trying to get the kids to play was a shape-shifting monster, as I mentioned. It wasn't a monster. He said something that makes me think he's not mortal either. So you didn't kill him? She asked, but she started wiping my blood. No, I did. He was able to die after some work and using magic. He wasn't mortal in our sense. He was something else. He used magic. Unfortunately, it was by accident again. And I blew him up. Took out a tree while I did. For someone who's capable of down burst charges of fire with a little tree, makes me think you should be focusing on such acts. I don't care for music. I stated, trying to keep my voice the same as before, but it was difficult. It wavered as I thought about what happened last time. I purposely used a controlled ability. I changed the subject before my fault was more far than it already was. Whatever he was, part of that was his resilience, but he seemed to feed off your thoughts. The fear was associated with fear, anxiety, and agony, and pushing. She nodded. She continued to place my shoulder. That's that. His true form was scarier than being chased by a psycho version of Claudius in the garden. Almost as bad as his portrait. I could imagine being chased by a psychotic version of a kid you've known for a while, quite the experience. She started, touching a sensitive spot that I beat. She apologized before continuing. But I can't get behind his true form, being on par with torturing the way he had. Especially if you could read your subconscious, maybe even bring up things you wouldn't have done. And laid them out in front of you. I didn't know her words brought up questions I had no answers to. What the demon being had shown me was what I had feared. That wasn't a lie, it was a fact. By staying within walls, I could bring more monsters to the people I cared about, the last to attack that inmates. And what if that thing came back? Was it even alive? Was I going to? The creature said, I wanted memories. Theodora said something, dragging me out of bed. She was easier in my mind. He's going to figure out how you fresh my mind. Outland monsters, supernatural creatures, and demons. I should have gone back once the kids were out. It would have been easier to deal with. Maybe, but I don't know if that would have helped him or not. He could have been able to feed and attack on more than one person for all we know. She brought up that. That is a fair assessment. I flipped through the pages to get to the demon section. It seemed more demonic. I needed plain to lead the demon. As I flipped through the pages, I noticed that some of the demons were a lot of rose red. Last time I had ever come to one standard permanent was enough. My page turned came to an end as I saw the skin lightly coat-headed freak sitting on the bed. The effigy is supposed to go. No fit. I take the second. She said, that's disgusting. I would think he smells just as disgusting. No, he smells like burnt. That's not it's genderless. I didn't read too far on it as I started flipping the game through the pages before possible. I turned to her. She finished the bandage. Don't suppose that the other creepy monsters were demons, do you? No, I don't think they would be demons. They weren't that monsters either. Supernatural creatures it is. She gave me the okay to put my shirt back on, and she stole the book from me, going through it and thankfully not staring. I put on the shirt and did the tie up, only to stop for putting my cape back on, and she made a cute little noise of satisfaction. I had only heard a few times when she was still she smiled slightly. She seemed relaxed, comfortably, if she wasn't so conscious of to read all my thoughts. Remember, she is the enemy and approval of other minds. I wasn't thinking of anything else, but just it may sound cute, but you know what else was cute first? What? Those rabbits. Yeah, okay, sure. Those rabbits were scary once they were looking at me. And then I looked over the page she was looking at with a bit of disgust on her face. A man was drawing the page with a whole lot of clothing on, but he looked less decomposed than most of the monsters we had seen. I looked away from the drawing to find its incredibly weird name. Benevalidin. What? Wait. The pronunciation's right here. Theodora started, laughing in my struggle as she pointed to just beneath her. It's pronounced Nevelida. Right. It's like magic words. Letters are silent for some mysterious reason. She turned away from the book to me. A bit of worry vanished her face. Are you feeling okay? You look a bit pale. Yeah, fine. Just a bit lightheaded. I haven't eaten today. I told her a while ago. I was feeling dizzy, but it wasn't from lack of food. I might have been more internally injured than I thought from that energy ball that forced me to pick that food. Day kept silent on something, but I got her thoughts of leaving me to make the right call about when it was time to go home. I turned to the book and tried to focus on words. They were a bit difficult to comprehend fully. Theodora started reading the page, just seeing the having a hard time. It has multiple counts. Spirit, rule, and dead. There doesn't seem to be much of a difference between those three things, but they do. She gave a small giggle at my remark. It's a restless and demented soul of a person who is tainted by some unknown mass. The creature lives between our world and this other world called the demonious. Is Henry too informal, or was the author just bored? I'm going to say he was bored. Theseus probably didn't have much to do while he was writing. Theseus wrote this, the original. I don't know if someone's taking the liberty to update it or if nothing's changed, as it's still relevant. I looked at where she left off and continued. They live in a place called the compound, the tainted world. I looked at her, hoping she knew what I was talking about, but she shook her head. I've never had it, not looking to fetch it to it. Glad to know we're on the same track. I turned back to the book. She heard my physical items, already knew that. Holy objects do something like cursed on work extremely well. So to hell with it, why would someone pick up a curse on? Local curse market? Is that a thing? Ah, she gave me a look as she assessed my words, as me being serious before shaking her head. No, not unless such a thing exists in the blackbird. You better go shopping next to me. Not generally. I don't often need to write things, and when I do, Jacob somehow finds out that it's placed on my desk or table before I can get around to do it. Your butler is quite efficient. Unnaturally so. Magic weapons, abilities, and creatures are also able to be done. It explains why you were able to punch it when it went through your soul. Absolomans are pretty magical compared to the other races. Right, blood does that. Yes, it does. She turned to the book again. That and email in would die. What else could be in there? Doing some count? I don't know. I'm sure the knights would be able to handle it in use prices. What concerns me is that the walls were meaningless. There are only so many things a wall can do now. Creatures that come from different realms or different don't count that was. She showed. I wasn't sure if she was talking to me or herself. I had the other council members see going over their divisions to make sure nothing like this didn't happen over the last week or so. Monsters like this just being impact. Places would be also suffering similar things. Progress is just fine. Other things can be affected. I would appreciate it if you did that when we return to the castle. If I go there, I don't think they listen. I don't like them very much. I'm going to be honest. No, they didn't. I would probably be more organized until it's too late. Figured. At least Owen doesn't hate me. I should be able to find more knights and guards to do more around within the city and a greater chef for having. This is happening in Middletown. I can only imagine. There's so much excitement happening outside the city walls and other places around me. She closed the book and had a divine, unreal expression across her face. Really quiet. It's lights on. Chapter 20. Fourth Town. Talon Mountain rose high above the city inside. It didn't stand out as much as it would have if it didn't follow the rest of the mountain range, but it was quite obvious before you could it. From above, it looked like a simple fort, but like the other ones found in and around Sheffield, a massive tunnel laid underneath the great fort. The tunnels were escape routes made long ago, a little more than 100 built around the kingdom. About 300 more were created as the kingdom expanded. Each tunnel had the same purpose of leading to a border that could take people to the hidden city of Asylum. 6 other tunnels were laid about the city, all in the purpose to evacuate people in the case of a large outland monster attack that couldn't be defended against. I wasn't sure when the original tunnels had been built or where the city hid, only that it was some supposed paradise for my people that was magically protected by Orthena, though after the incident to the temple, I wasn't so sure how much protection it would provide if that day ever came. A sharp pain went through my head, silencing my worries and concerns for a future that may never come. It had a point to the pain. There were more important matters to attend to. Day and Gabrielle landed in front of the doors to the fort, and the two of us got off day, me a little more cautiously than I would have. Knights stood on either side of the entrance, greeting me with a simple salute which I mimicked back quickly before getting inside. Once inside, the main foyer was exceptionally empty, as a few knights quickly disappeared into different rooms, papers and screens in hand, nose deep into work, no doubt for a multitude of assignments. One of the knights got within a few meters of me, and a communications tablet flickered before shutting off completely. The knight, unaware of anyone around him, started tapping on the settee and pressing buttons before he sighed in defeat. He left, leaving the room completely to ourselves. A guilty smile planted itself on my face as an oops fell out of my mouth. Theodora didn't seem to understand at first why I'd reacted as I had before she without realization. She shook her head, apparently not humoring my amusement, but Day heard silent. At least she talked to me. Hopefully the device started working again for the board now. It didn't seem like he was having a great day and probably had a lot of work to do. Maybe I shouldn't have found it funny that I broke his appetite just by being ignorant. I left the moral idiot behind as we walked over to the contents. A large brown dragon laid in the corner that I didn't see at first, seemingly bored, as he looked at something in the other corner. I followed where the dragon was looking to find a knight with ashen brown hair in the corner, rubbing a whelp's belly. I recognized the knight as one of the two brigadier commanders directly under Owen, Azariah's stable, though I had to admit I didn't talk much to the man, if at all. I went to address him, but the knight threw my train of thought out the window as he cooed to the big dragon. Who's the cutest little dragon in all the realm? You are, yes, you are. Oh, you're so clean and soft now, yes, you are. I looked over at Theodora. She looked just as confused as I was. I didn't picture the knight to be a cooing type at first glance, but I was clearly mistaken. The small dragon made a soft whine and sadness, even with the attention he was being given, and the knight decided, right, Miss Bruce, I'm going to strike and not wait. Bruce is too long. When you're a little older, Bruce will never be separated. You're too late. You're just going to have to deal with Uncle when they go on special shopping trips. So, who's the bravest little whelp that ever lived? You are. The little dragon replied happily, thumping his tail on the ground. Okay. A small smile formed on my face as the scene we had walked into was explained. Day and I used to be like that when we were much, much younger, easily pleased with cute toned words that neither of us really understood. That's so cute. The councilman whispered softly, drawing in my attention. Gabrielle was used to be like that. He's like he had a girl's tail. Who do you leave behind those times? The dragon sighed. It's so embarrassing. She didn't say anything more, but it was plain to see on her face that she found amusement in throwing her partner's pride in the trash. The large dragon on the other side of the counter noticed us and moved his tail slightly to throw the knight off balance. The knight fell backwards awkwardly and hit the ball hard. The knight looked up at the dragon, a growl of annoyance came from him. What was that for, Sage? Are you jealous that Ramachan is getting all the attention? Well, someone has to since you aren't doing it. You're on duty. The brown dragon simply stated in a surprisingly deep voice, avoiding the claims. The knight looked over at us with a surprise in his violet eyes before quickly getting to a stand. Prince Zero, Lady Theodora, what a pleasant and unexpected surprise. He parked himself behind the counter before looking at me with a confused look and looked that made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Why are you covered in blood? I mean, it's not that much blood. I muttered looking at my shirt. The shirt was indeed covered in quite a bit of blood. It just looks like a lot because it's white. Yeah, no. The knight didn't believe me. He was more forward than what I had expected as well. So you were attacked by something and the scratches are definitely not from running through a forest. The red sleeve or just casual daily things for us. Sir Azariah, I sighed. I didn't need the service. I need to speak with General Owen. I was cut off as the whelp jumped onto the counter with a loud shriek, scaring me half to death. Azariah spent the grabbing, but the little dragon was quick, jumping off the counter and at me. I caught him hid his head under my arm and shut it down. A small huff came out as I settled down and rubbed what little of his head moved down. Then I sighed. Sorry, my lord, I might have come off a bit strong, but I'm still thankful that there might be some weird stuff going on. And that if you came this way injured to give you a scolding, you were asked to stay out of trouble. Maybe. I wasn't having this discussion with him and looked away from the now sleeping dragon in my arms for the night. There are some creatures in Elwood Garden that attack the patrols. They would normally prepare to eat them and already eat the nights. Oh shit, really? Azarias turned to his dragon. Sage, go find Cyrus and tell him to get back here. He's been gone for food for almost an hour. More like he wanted to leave the over-doting annoyance. The dragon grumbled as he got up. He left through one of the side doors, apparently knowing where the other knight had gone. An incomprehensible mutter came from the brunette before turning back to us. Cyrus and I will make sure teams are sent out to deal with the creatures in the garden and surrounding areas, Prince Edward. I am happy to know, though, that you are unhurt. Well, she's unhurt. You look like you bit the knight with a thorn bush and lost. I mean, my father was trapped. Thanks for your opinion. I noticed a small smile forming on the corner of Theodore's mouth, and I frowned. She went back on me for expression at my disapproval, but I sighed, turning back to the night. There were several patrols slain. One of them was traumatized, but we managed to get him out. Then the Paladin. The Paladins. That's surprising to find in the middle of the city, but I suppose it makes sense why the patrol got fucked. The knight pondered after cutting me off before giving a small nod, as conversation wasn't part of it. Sage is making sure Cyrus is aware of the threat, and we'll plan accordingly. Leave it to us. I gave a small nod, but a question rose. Are you going with him? I will be after I call my sister Lois and get a certain someone. He handed the dragon in my arms. Then I'll take a team and do a sweep of the city before joining the others in the garden. I can take him now. You should head back to the castle. Ready for security and medical attention. I handed over the little dragon, and with a curt goodbye, we left. The trip back was less than pleasant. Besides finding out more about the effigy, it became a lot harder to breathe, as anything more than a shallow breath sent a sharp pain through my